Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It is Friday evening, December 10th, 2021. I am Salad Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk. Welcome, Shannon. Girl, you are on it. You are numero uno. But thank you. Thank you. We'll see what kind of crowd I have tonight. This is my first evening show. So we'll see who else shows up and trickles in. Let's see. Okay, well, I am going to start the music, and it's just us right now, so I am going to get started. All right, so tonight's topic, I'm just, wrapping up the entire week. Again, I didn't realize that my shows were about religion this past week until I realized that we've been talking about religion and faith this entire week. So I figured I let this show just turn into wrapping it up about religion and questioning religion in a respectful and critical way. Questioning religion in a respectful way allows everyone the chance to understand the virtues of being relayed to them. It should also encourage clarity and meaningful dialogue. If you agree or disagree with this statement, why is religion a controversial topic for some? Welcome, Green-Eyed Phoenix. And I'm assuming the PHX is Phoenix. So welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, so again, this week, we've been talking about, the afterlife, and Jimmy came on earlier this week and shared a very heartfelt story that actually, me personally, I was in tears. And Shannon and Revolutionary Bro, you guys, the last 2 days, you guys have been deep. I mean, the comments that I've had, especially people who listen to my show on Twitter, and some of the direct messages that I have, people are showing you guys a lot of love because you guys took my show to an entirely different level. So I know, again, we've been talking about religion, but I just want to wrap it up tonight. And I just want to know, why do we criticize another person's religion? Is it just, human nature? Is it because we don't understand? And I use the word criticize because I do believe that we do criticize, but at the same time, we're trying to understand. And then again, there are those people who don't want to understand. They just want to criticize. So they say religion and politics are the two things that you shouldn't talk about. I personally think that if you can, talk about them in a respectful way, then it's not a problem. Welcome, GP Man 45. So again, why do we criticize someone else's religion? And when you look at religion, isn't the underlying message still the same no matter what your religion is? That we're supposed to love people, we're supposed to be tolerant, nonviolence, we're supposed to forgive. Isn't it all the same? Don't all religions still come together and basically say the same thing? So I am going to send out some invites. Welcome, Crucible Man and Green-Eyed Phoenix. This is the first time you've been on my show, and just to let you know, what I do is I do give everyone an opportunity to talk. If you don't mute your mic, I will mute it for you, mainly for two reasons: for background noise, and also to let everyone know who has the mic, and we all is to respect the person that is talking. But I go around the room, so to speak, and I give everyone an opportunity. If someone says something in response to someone else, I'll go back to that previous person to have them do a rebuttal. But again, everyone will have the opportunity to speak. So I am going to send out my invites, and if you guys want to jump in, because I'm pretty sure Bro and Shannon, I'm pretty sure you guys have something to say. And Crucible Man and GP Man 45, hopefully, in the afternoon. I know when you join, you're usually working, so it's off and on. So who wants to go first? I will start with ladies first. So Shannon, what do you want to start us off?
Um, well, we kind of had an experience earlier, me and Revolutionary Bro. She was a very knowledgeable girl and really had a lot of bad experiences with her life. And so she has turned back to religion, and she's convinced that the vaccine is the mark of the beast, in which it's definitely possible. But and as much knowledge as she said, I mean, she kept trying to argue with saying things that, oh, I don't know what's wrong with your Wiccan, what'd she say, bro? She said, were you and your Wiccan religion? And we're going, what? We never said we were Wiccan religion. We were talking about
We were
Jess,
talking about Solomon.
and David and then King Solomon. And she kept saying, no, Solomon is not David's father.
Wait, what's this? Wait, hold on for a second. So was this on another podcast or what, where
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yes.
So what was the what was the topic?
The vaccine is the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
man said, I kind of felt bad for her
Yeah.
because at first, me and Shannon, we tried to be like real cool with it, right? We tried to be, but after that, like she gave us no choice but to just almost annihilate her. And it was so bad, she just shut her show down. And I didn't mean, I felt so bad. I didn't know what to do because I ain't used to just trying to destroy people like that. Like,
Well, was
but
she considering Wiccan as a religion that she was putting down?
she wasn't putting it down. She was saying that we practiced it because she was saying things like we were practicing Wicca, and we never said we practiced. We never said nothing about we had a religion. We was just talking about some of the things that was in the Bible. And when we showed her in the Bible where we was right, she still said it was wrong. Like I'm like, I'm
So
like,
okay,
yo, something's wrong.
again, I say so. I'm just trying to tie this in to the topic and everything. So technically, then she was criticizing, even if you all were Wicca, she was criticizing, right? Welcome,
Oh,
Misha. Oh, welcome, Misha. Welcome. So she was criticizing them, right?
yeah,
Yeah. But she was convinced that we were Wiccan.
yeah.
And
For
then
some
everything
reason,
she kept saying, we kept saying things that we didn't say. And she was saying, I don't know, I think she kind of like flipped out at the end or something, or got very, very confused, or I don't know what
So
happened there.
so I'm hold on. I'm gonna let Shannon have the mic. So hold on, bro, and I'll come back to you. So okay, so why do you think, assuming that she thought that you guys were Wicca, just let me just ask this: why do you think that religion is such a controversial topic for some people, and why do we as humans tend to, not all of us, but some of us tend to criticize another person's religions or their beliefs?
Well, for one, there's so many different versions of the Bible. For two, there's so many different religions, period. For three, it's embedded in people all their lives to believe in one way. And just like I can give an example, I have an uncle who's had a lot of tragedy in his life. Wife, children died way before him. He was always a God-fearing man and went to church, has actually even spoken tongues. Then he veered away after, the tragedies, and he was a pilot, like, hey, I'm in Tahiti and I'm with 3 stewardess, and you can imagine what I'm doing in the hot tub right now. I mean, just like that, call it like 3:00 in the morning. He went from the extreme opposite to like hedonism. And then all of a sudden he would go back to being a deep believer and take 3 steps and say, oh, hallelujah, everyone pray with me. And if you don't, it's like, get the hell out of the house. Or you live in New Orleans, you're a sinner because you live around all those homosexuals. And it's like, oh my God. And he is the meanest person I've ever known in my entire life. And he feels like he's absolved because he goes to church and he believes in God. But come back to my question is that there's so many different variations. And because it is, now please don't take me wrong, but some religions and some churches are very, 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 very much like a lot of cults. And it's some religions like such as the Baptist, they can't dance. They're so structured in their rules. They condition you to, well, my church is the best, So I think that that's why people have different, you know, views and opinions on other people. I was a bartender for many years, and I've always learned that religion and politics is just something you don't discuss because you're always going to get into a fight.
All right. So, okay. So let me ask this because I'm looking at what Green Eye Phoenix is saying. And she said that I personally don't have religion. I believe in a creator, but not a religion. And then she says people can't handle what is different from them. And then she goes on to say, I never read the Bible, but it's a story of life, whether it be a prediction, et cetera. I don't know. So when you say, people can't handle what is different from them, is religion just lumped in with everything else that whatever you don't know what is different or something you're not familiar with or something that you don't understand, you automatically want to criticize it or, think something negative as opposed to wanting to learn about it. And I'm going to go to Bro, I know you left and came back, but you were on first, one of the first people on. So I'm going to go to you. Can you answer that question for me? Or
Hold on. I gotta get Art. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to
No, it's
ask
just
that.
that's every time you come on, you're always like, "Can you hear me?" Yes,
No,
I can
because
hear
I
you.
be struggling getting my mic back on sometime.
Okay.
All right. So all right, let me answer the question that you first asked when I was going out. I believe it was, let me see if I got it right. You were saying that, hold on. What was your first question? Your initial question? Because I know
Well,
I said it.
you and Crucible Man, and with this, what was your first question? I mean,
Not because I was going out
no, no,
and
no, 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 no. That's fine. I'm just teasing you. So, if you agree or disagree, why is a religion, first of all,
uh,
such a controversial topic for some people?
all right. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's controversial. And this is gonna be it in a nutshell. Most of us who claim that we are a religious people, regardless of whom or what we subscribe to, what we do is we don't study for ourselves. We listen to what other people say. And then when we go out and try to indoctrinate others, we're not actually, speaking from a place of knowledge from what we know. We're speaking from a place of what we heard. And if what we heard is wrong, that's where the controversy come in. Because if people heard right, then they gonna, yo, me and Shannon Lynn, I hate to say this, but we ripped this lady not because we're just ignorant, just pricks or whatever. We ate her up using her own knowledge against her. Let me tell you what I mean. She was talking about this, that, and the third, like breaking stories down that we never heard. So we said, okay, we started bringing scriptures in. Even the people that were in the chat was bringing the scriptures that was saying exactly what me and Shannon Lynn was saying. And it got to the point where she said, y'all all wrong, because I'm speaking from a biblical perspective. But I said to her, if you're speaking from a biblical perspective, everything that you say, we should be able to go to the Bible and find it. And since we're not finding it, you're not biblically speaking.
Okay, now, bro, I'm going to ask you something, okay? Because the last 2 days when we were talking about religion,
Hmm.
I got the impression, and I could be wrong, so please correct me. I got the impression that you really did not believe in the Bible that much, that you thought it was more structured by man as a way to control. So I find it interesting that with this lady that you guys were talking to earlier, that you go to the Bible.
Let me tell you why I go to the Bible. Because you got to meet people where they are. You if you're talking about a specific topic, you can't if you have a doctorate degree, you can't go into a third grade classroom and teach from a doctorate level. You got to go where the children are. And your job is to bring the children up to where you are. So, in order for me to speak about the Bible or anything else, I have to be learned in whatever I'm speaking about.
Okay, that
So I
makes a
told
lot
you
of
I
sense.
study
Actually,
everything.
she's here. Invite her up. She just
That
entered the chat room.
that
She's
that
actually a
makes
very,
that
very
that
nice
makes
woman.
a lot of sense.
She's a very nice woman.
Okay, I will do that. But let me go to Crucible Man. Crucible Man, do you want to pick up on any of this?
Yeah, I think what has happened with a lot of with religion. I mean, religion is very personal and it can be very proprietary, and we only know what we grew up with and we only know what we believe, and we are threatened a lot of times by what we don't understand. But what I think can happen often in religion, and I think what happens a lot with religions, because like Shannon said, there are many versions of the Bible. There are many gods. There's a Muslim God, there's a Hindu God, there's a Christian God. What matters is God. And what I think has happened often is people tend to worship the religion as opposed to worshiping God. And at the end of the day, the world is still about people, and people should be able to worship God in the way they want to, and not get so caught up in the religion. And I think there's a real difference between worshiping God and worshiping a religion.
But should people criticize you no matter how you choose to worship religion or worship God? So should people criticize you however you choose to worship?
Yes, I think if you're choosing to worship religion, you're worshiping an abstract institution. You're not worshiping a deity. You're worshiping dogma, and you're worshiping rhetoric, and you're worshiping words and language. You're not necessarily worshiping God. So I think you do open yourself up for criticism, because I think worshiping God should be the point, not worshiping dogma.
Okay, I'm playing both sides here, but if you think that okay, I'm going to take Jim Jones. So if you think that Jim Jones is God, because everything that he's been telling you, everything that he's been preaching to you, he makes himself out to be a God. If you think that this person is a God, and I'm telling you, no, he's not. No, he's not. Again, do I have? As long as I'm not hurting anyone, why are you criticizing me?
Well, if you're worshiping Jim Jones, you're worshiping another human being. You're,
Okay. Okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to throw something else in there. So when I said earlier, when we had a conversation about the Catholic Church, and I said, I don't understand, I'm not Catholic, and I don't understand why people, confess to another human being. So again, if I'm not hurting anyone or whatever, why does it matter to you? Why are you going to criticize me? Why can't I just do my thing and you do your thing and that's it?
Well, criticizing and why does it matter to me, are two different things. Criticizing, that's just, making an observation. Does it matter to me? No, of course not. But I think a personal relationship with God, whatever God you're choosing to worship, is always more beneficial than worshiping, an institution, or people who represent an institution. So yeah, it doesn't affect me at all. Whatever you want to worship, you can worship. I think there's a more productive way to worship than worshiping a church or showing up every week and subscribing to a particular set of rituals. Rather than, I'm sure there are people on this earth who have much, much, much better relationships with God than who never go to church, than people who show up every day and pay, and donate $20 every week. So everything is personal when it comes to religion. You can worship however you want to. I just think worshiping the actual God is probably more productive than worshiping an institution.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to go to GP Man. What do you want to add to the conversation?
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
So, I got to say that I am a minority because I actually grew up in an atheist household. But most people are actually raised, especially, well, I never met anybody else like that. But pretty much everybody's raised in some kind of house of faith. But my dad was an ignorant individual. He taught us about the Bible. He taught us about the Jewish traditions, the Quran. We actually went over that, the Book of Mormon. I mean, you name even the Mahabharata, the holy book of the Hindus, just to understand people. My father, I mean, that's just the way we were raised. Me and my brothers, is to not be ignorant, not understand other people's beliefs. I mean, since the beginning of time, there's been over 3,000 known gods to different people. Everybody believes their God is the right one, but I mean, there's been over 3,000 all across the globe in the history of time. So it's just, especially living in America, you understand that, hey, we're just going to have to coexist to have peace. It's just how it goes. But don't be ignorant. Don't educate yourself. But I myself, I am an atheist myself, but into the sense that, if you believe something that makes you be a better person, I'm all for it, regardless of what deity you go for, or your morals align. As long as you don't hurt others or hurt yourself, I see no wrong in doing that. But that's just me personally. I think it's great people that have faith, but for me, it's not there.
So, with all of the religions that you've studied, so you're saying that you don't have faith?
Exactly. Yes.
Do you have faith in anything in terms of like you have faith that you might get this job or you're going to complete this task or anything? I mean, do you believe in faith at all?
I do not know. I got to say that I did try. Like I said, I did try to enroll myself into getting to know whether it's Catholicism or just Baptist or just even a Muslim, but it didn't click for me at all. Just knowing, when you know so much of different religions, kind of like the same thing, you can kind of put it to the test. I remember the Quran where it talks about Solomon's magic carpet that could take a whole battalion of his troops that takes months to travel. He could do it in one day. It's just a lot of things. Is just even from the Bible too, depictions of basically what Noah, the whole flood. It did happen historically. You can even go back to the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is the oldest work of literature by man in the history of time. It was written by the Samaritans, and their god, the Anunnaki, they pretty much started the civilization of man. I mean, they're the oldest civilization known to man, and they don't really contradict each other in a sense. It's just more of getting to know different cultures, but it's really, I wouldn't say that I have faith in anything really, especially being a war veteran. It really shakes your faith for those that even have faith to begin with. But I just say, for me, I have faith in nothing like that.
That's very interesting. I don't think I've ever met or spoken with anyone who didn't have faith in something. That's very interesting to me. And I sincerely mean that. I'm going to go to Green Eye Phoenix. Hello, welcome to my show for the first time. Would you like to throw a couple of things in?
Oh, I was just listening to GP Man, and I believe a lot like he does. I'm considered atheist. I've grown up like in Catholic churches when I was younger, and then my mom turned into whatever a born again Christian is considered. But my belief is there's so much divide between everybody because, like I just put in the chat, it's considered one nation under God, right? Well, what is a God? It's not a religion. And I think everybody's just too focused on their own beliefs and not looking at the big picture of it. To me, I don't know what a God is. When I picture a God, I don't picture like a man. I don't even know what I really picture. I just know that we have a creator, and that's just, I mean, where I stand on it. When I say the Bible to me is like the book of life, a lot of it comes off almost like as a crutch in a sense, to make people, it's the Santa tactic for kids, you know. Um, and that's how I look at religion in a lot of ways, is that it's a crutch. But I don't judge those who have faith or believe. I just choose what I choose to believe in, and you know, everybody can pretty much like it or leave it. They're not going to change my mind. It's another thing, like I was saying, with the color of our skin. Look at the divide of people with the color of our skin. It's the same thing with religion. Everybody's got their own religion. Everybody's got their own skin color, and it's dividing the world.
So I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked GP Man. Do you have faith? I mean, do you believe in faith, or do you have faith in anything? Or, I mean, is faith a part of your life? No, I was. This is for you, Green Eye Phoenix. Is faith a part of your life? Okay, I don't know if I think I lost you there. So, because you broke up a little bit there, so I will come back to you. I will come back to you. So, Revolutionary Bro, let me ask you. Let's see. And I'm gonna put invite out to Crazy Lady. I'm sorry if I missed you before with the invite. So, bro, you know, I'm just listening to what everyone is saying. You know, what have you, and again, I'm coming back to criticizing another person's religion. Is it possible that all of us, you know, when it's all said and done, we all believe the same thing?
You ready for my answer?
Yes, I
Okay.
stopped
I'm
talking.
just
So,
no, because I was waiting to hear you complete what you were saying. But
yeah.
let me say this. There was a song, I think it was in the early 60s. It was a lady and she said, "Rescue me." You remember that song?
Yes, I do. Rescue
Okay.
me.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. All right. You asked Crucible Man. You said the Crucible Man the same question. And you asked them about criticizing other people's religion. I don't think it's criticizing other. See, if you came to me, just say for instance, I was worshiping the apple, and you came to me and you said, "Come on, man, that apple ain't doing much." I wouldn't look at you as if you were criticizing me. I would look at you as if you were rescuing me. Because think about it from this perspective. Let's use your Jim Jones example. Don't you know a lot of people that went down into Guyana and died during the Guyana tragedy? Had somebody came to them and said, "Hey, you got this wrong. Either we can show you the right way to do it, or maybe you just need to leave it alone until you're strong enough to handle it." It might have looked like a critique, but they actually would have been rescued because they wouldn't have been there to drink the poison or get shot or whatever happened to those people down there. So, we have to look at it from more than just, a level of critique. We got to look at it as people are getting rescued because if your salvation depend on getting away from your damnation, then you might just need to be critiqued or rescued because that might save that soul. So if you really believe, then you might want somebody to tap you on your shoulder and say, hey, it's a better way than how you're doing this right now.
Okay, but I purposely used the word criticize because people do criticize other people's religion. I mean, they just do. So
But they do that.
I purposely use that word. But when you say, okay, if I'm worshiping this apple, and you say,
Mhm.
well, there's a better way to do it, why should I believe you if I really believe that this apple is going to give me salvation or something? I am so in tune to this apple. Who are you to tell me that there's a better way? And what makes the way you're telling me better?
If we look at forms of religion, some forms of religion is more believable, more approachable than others. Like, say for instance, the religions that those people actually, I forget the proper term of it, but they actually beat themselves into submission. They self mutilate. They castrate themselves. You you know it's got to be a better way than that. They use pain and stuff. They inflict pain on themselves as a way of punishing themselves for their sins, whether they're committing them or not. I mean, when you look at some of the things that people do in the name of religion, it has to be a better way than some of the approaches that they're taking to God. It has to be. So even if they're not ready to hear it, they might not be ready to hear it then, but at least you've planted the seeds of possible reform in their mind. And even if they don't take heed at that time, they might say, Solid Blue Sister told me this, but, hopefully it's not too late when they realize it.
Okay, all right. Shannon, I'm going to you. You want to pick up on that?
I'm sorry. I just back in the bathroom. I didn't hear a word of it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, before I move on, do you want to add anything, or else I'll just go to Crucible Man. I'll just circle back around to you.
Are we still talking about the differences in religion and why people put them down, each other down?
That and other things. So whatever you want to throw in, just throw it in.
God.
You know what? I tell you what. Let me
back.
come back to you. And actually, Crucible Man, before I come to you, I do want to go to Crazy Lady. So, Crazy Lady, do you want to add anything?
I always say, what if we're all wrong, okay? And like at the end, we go in front of whatever creator and he tells people, hey, you know what? You're wrong. I really want you to do like this. I personally know some people that would probably look right at the God and say, yeah, nah, you know what you're talking about. I think if you believe in a certain religion or a certain belief, I say follow it, don't be hypocritical about it, and say, well, I'm a whatever, and then don't follow whatever your guidelines or your, the way you do it. You know what I mean?
But what if someone is telling you that your religion that is wrong, or your religion is not the
Oh, that
right
I'm a
way?
heathen? I get told that a lot, but it doesn't bother me because I just I says, well, if that's so, then that'll be so, I guess, but I still love you. Even if you hate me, I still love you, because I do.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, Mr. T says, I have a relationship with God, not a religion, and he has faith in God. So, Crucible Man, I'm coming to you. Do you want to put anything in, add anything?
Your earlier question was, is it possible at the end of the day that we all want the same thing? And I think it is possible. And I think we do all want the same thing. And there's a phrase that goes something like, it doesn't matter how you get there. Any road will get you there as long as you get there. But, as far as criticism of other religions go, I mean, anything with I shouldn't say anything, but many things with criticism is rooted in misunderstanding or fear. But I think a lot of people misuse religion, and they wear it on their sleeve, or they hide behind it, or they do other things with it that gives it a bad name, and it shows up in places where maybe it shouldn't show up. It doesn't matter what religion it is. If you're injecting it into places where it may not belong, that may be a valid criticism of somebody's religion. It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to the individual, tenets or rituals or mores of that particular religion. It could just be any religion that is misused, for purposes that don't have anything to do with God.
Okay, you make some very good points. I'm gonna go to GP Man and then Green Eyed Phoenix, and then I'm going to ask you guys another question. GP Man, you have the mic.
Yeah, I think the best thing is just to kind of, just learn about each other, their cultures, their faith, their beliefs. That's one way of showing respect, towards someone else, knowing about what they believe in, and that's something that was taught to me in my household, to learn about others, their cultures and their beliefs. You really can't understand people. You can't understand other people from different cultures if you don't know about it. That's the best way of doing that, is learning about it, and it's a form of respect. So criticizing, well, I mean, I don't see the point of that. Even though I don't believe in anybody else's beliefs and their deities and their way of thinking and feeling, but it's just showing respect. It goes a long way, and especially here in the U.S., where we're a melting pot of all walks of the world. So, I mean, that's just what I could recommend for someone that, you can have a neighbor that's a Mormon, have another neighbor that's a Muslim, and have another neighbor that's a Jew. So, I mean, you got to make it work here in the U.S. And that's one thing I could recommend, is learning about each other's cultures and their beliefs to show respect towards them.
Okay, all right. I have a question for both you and Green Eye, and I know she said that I don't have much to input, but I'm gonna throw this out there. If you want to answer it and come on, you're more than welcome. To GP Man and Green Eye. So at the end of the day, when you take your last breath and your life is over, do you think that, I mean, like for me, I believe I believe in God, and I believe that some way, somehow, I am going to see him, whether it be the pearly gates or, however you want to say it. I believe I am going to see this person that I call God at the end of my life. So my question to the two of you is, do you, at the end of your life, what do you expect? Do you just think that you're going to die, and that's it, and everything goes black, or do you think that there's something on the other side?
No, like I mentioned before, I am a veteran and I've experienced a lot of death. I don't believe nothing special happens once you die. It's done. I've seen life being taken away at an instant. So I don't believe that anything special happens once you are, deceased. I believe that it's done. Everything goes black, and that's the end of you. Nothing more.
So when people say, I'll see my parents on the other side, or you're telling your child, I know I'll see you again, you don't think that you will?
No, not at all.
Okay. Green Eye, do you want to answer that, or are you good?
I agree. I would have to say the same thing as him. I don't really think there's anything on the other side, that there's this magic place that we're all going to go to. In a way, I believe how they talk about heaven and hell. I believe this is purgatory that we live in now. But I don't think there's some magic place that we're all going to float off to, that our souls are going to float off to.
Okay, I find that I find that fascinating. I really, really do. I find that totally fascinating. Shannon, you wanted to say something.
Well, I don't mean, if I disagree with somebody, please don't get mad. I disagree with GP Man 45. I'm sorry you've seen a lot of death and turmoil, but it is a proven fact that we are created with energy. We are nothing but energy beings. And when you die, that energy goes somewhere else because you cannot kill or destroy energy. And it just transforms into something else. Now, whether that's into an animal or another human or an inanimate object or just floats up to the sky or wherever it may be, you cannot kill energy. And I think that this is what they consider to be the soul. And it is transformed. But I do think that this is definitely, death is not it. And I do believe that we're all searching for ourselves and others. That's why you get like the terms birds of a feather flock together. And then so many religions, a lot of Hindu, Buddhism, like they believe in reincarnation. I just don't think that that's it when we die. And I think
So you think that there's something on the
is
other side? You think there's something on the other side?
I don't even know if it's on the other side. It could be just like another frequency level. Actually in plain sight, but we're just not able to experience the optical visual of it, or like a TV or a radio, like turning the tune, turning the channel, but we are only tuned in to one. There's a famous painting, and it is so amazing, and it was done, I think, 250 years ago by Kandinsky. And if you really, really look at this picture and study it, it shows the Earth, and like what you see is like a small depiction of what the industrial age would be. And then it has like another level to it, like on top, which looks like kind of like clouds. And then you see what looks like a cell tower with a frequency coming off of it. They didn't have cell towers back then. I think we live in like a television. Almost. Different channels, different frequencies. And sometimes they overlap, and these energy beings, I think that's what some people see as ghosts until they transform into something else. Because energy just does not die. You cannot kill it.
Shannon, I am listening to everything you're saying, and I again say I am fascinated. I am seriously, truly just fascinated. I don't know what to say after that because I'm just trying to really just understand it.
Well, I think logical, and I believe in data. More the things that you can prove. But I do have an open mind. I was raised as a Roman Catholic. But I'm a person that I believe it when I see it. And then sometimes you can't even believe what you see. But I do know that there's definitely a higher being, because I do know that the missing link proves that. I do believe we do not evolve from an amoeba. I do think we do evolve, but not to that extent. So whether it's what you call God or a higher being or aliens or possibly even a biological software program such as the Matrix.
Okay. All right. Crucible Man, coming to you.
I guess I'm curious for Green Eyed Phoenix and GP Man. if I understand the skepticism about God, I had it for a long time. And maybe as I've gotten older and I get closer to my mortality, I begin to reconsider some things that in the past I might have just attributed to, that can't possibly be true. There can't be a God. All these things could not have just, as somebody said, a magical place. It's fantastical. There's no way. And I've come to believe otherwise. But in times of adversity and difficulty, we all turn to something or someone. Maybe it's not a deity in the case of atheists, but is it anything? I know GP Man said, and I don't want to put words in Green Eyed Phoenix's mouth, but I think GP Man said he doesn't really have faith in anything. So what is it that sustains you, particularly when even if we're taking a flyer on God, and let's just say for grins, there is no God. There is no afterlife. It is just bleak nothingness afterwards. While we're on this planet, why not take a leap of faith, literally? If that's what can get you through the night, if it turns out not to be true, it's going to be too late anyway. So in the meantime, why not cling to something that sustains you? I'm just curious, what, if anything, do atheists turn to?
GP Man, you want to take that one, and then Green Eye Phoenix, or whoever wants to take that first?
I'll jump in. So yes, I understand it's kind of hard to understand that, and that's why I brought up the situation that I am a minority, because most people are not. They do not grow up in a atheist household. That's not the norm at all. But I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I was raised. I did try to have faith into the Christianity God, but I just never developed that. I see it more as a feeling to have faith, a sense of want, which I just couldn't grasp that. I couldn't do it. And as a soldier in hard times, very difficult times, you just go with it. You just take it as life. Life gives you your set of cards, and whatever hand you're dealt with, it could be a shitty hand or it could be a good hand. It doesn't matter, but you have to make do on what you're given. But no, you just don't look for answers among a higher power. You just go with it. Um, yeah, it's all more emotionally and just a sense of want and desire. But no, you really don't. As an atheist, you don't think like that. You don't feel that way. You just think, okay, well, that's life. That's the world. That's the way the world is. Don't ask for help, because in the way you can ask for help many times, but you will be disappointed. I remember some other troops, regardless what type of Christianity they were, whether it was Catholics, Baptists, what have you, they all prayed together to the same Christian God. But bad things still happened. But I respect them, because I mean, if that's what it takes for them to get through the mission, get through the difficult times, then I respect that and I will support them. But for an individual like myself, we don't feel that way. We don't think that way.
Okay. Phoenix, do you want to say anything?
So yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in an atheist home. My dad was considered atheist. My mom, like I said, Catholic, turned into a born again Christian. It just goes with when my son was born. I'll use this as an example. I tried to have, a faith in what's considered a God, and follow a religion, and I never took to it either. When my son was born, people tried to tell me that he survived based off of God, from people praying, from having faith. My son was born with his intestines out. Okay. I was in the intensive care unit every day with that little boy, and there was a little girl next to him, 6 months old, same exact health issue as my son. She was not getting better. She would move out of the NICU because she started doing better for a little bit. She'd come back. Her parents never came to see her. I was always there with my son. I don't believe that my son was a miracle from God or people's prayers. I believe that my son thrived on my love, on me showing him dedication and love. And and a want for him to survive and for him to be a part of my life. So, I mean, it kind of goes with my whole belief system now, just watching that little girl suffer and die. And her parents were never, ever around. Nobody ever came to see that little girl. Her parent, I think her mother was 15 and the father just barely met the baby for the first time while my son was born. And mind you, she was 6 months old. So, and also, how are their kids out here suffering from cancer, dying, being raped, things like that, if there's a God? Where's the God in that? I have a hard time believing in that when there's those vile things happening to children like that every single day.
Phoenix, I'm going to come back to you, but I want to go to Bro because I know he's been patiently waiting, but I do want to come back to something that you have said, and I'm going to throw that out to everyone. So, Bro, what would you like to add?
This is to Green Eye Phoenix. I know that a lot of people say things like, well, if a God exists, then why is this allowed to happen? Or why is that allowed to happen? But one of the reasons why these things are allowed to happen is because if we had any belief at all, or heard anything from the Bible, or read anything from Bible, it's a word called will. People are given free will, which means that if an adult want to rape a child, God doesn't infringe on their decision to rape that child. And I don't know how that lines up with like everybody's faith or belief, but according to the Bible, that's just a fact from the Bible. But let me say this, Solid Blue System. One of the reasons why I have a problem having an inability to believe in life after death or reincarnation or whatever happens after death is because you can look at something as simple as this. You can look at just water. Let's look at water. You can do water in its liquid form. You can freeze it and turn it into ice. And then when you get tired of looking at the piece of the lump of ice, you can turn it into steam. The water never just goes away. It just repeats a cycle. And I think life follows that. I think that's the blueprint of life. It is a secular thing. It just goes on and on and on. And it's never ending. Think about this. People died millions of years ago. And here we are today. It was never an end of the world for them or anything like that. It just kept on going. And here we are today as a result of those deaths.
Okay, I was actually going to do a show on free will on Monday, but when Phoenix said what she said, then you brought up free will. I am going to say this because I do believe in free will. I do believe that we are the when you become an adult, when you're a child, your parents or your teachers or whatever pretty much tell you what to do. But as you get older, you do decide what you want to do. You decide if you're going to visit your child in the hospital. You decide, if you're going to rape this person. You decide if you're going to kill this person. So everyone does have free will. But the fact that you are in the hospital and you're with your son, or you're on the battlefield, or if you're in a relationship that is just not working or something, I come back to that word faith. Don't you, even though you don't may not want to use that word, but don't you still have to have some type of faith that things are going to get better? You're going to make it out. My son's going to get better. I mean, I don't know. I just think that faith is a huge part of our everyday life. And I'm gonna throw that out to Phoenix first, if you want to answer that.
So I believe in having faith in myself, the will and the want to do something or not do something, to want to thrive or not to thrive, to keep my life or end my life. I don't think that, faith has to be in a creator or God. I have to have faith in myself. And that's where I've seen my sufferings in life, and where I've seen my positive gifts in life, I guess you can say, just based on what I choose to do. So if I don't understand how I can have a faith in something else, where if I decide to not do something and I get no results from it, how is something else going to magically make that happen, so to speak?
Okay, so
Do I make sense?
no, you do make sense. So if you decide that you're an attorney and you're going to take the bar, you take it the first time, you don't pass. You take it the second time, you don't pass. You take it the third time, you don't pass. And then the fourth time, you're like, I am going to pass this test. No matter what happens, I am going to pass this test. And then you pass. Isn't that faith that you just said? I have faith that I'm going to pass. I am finally going to pass that test. Doesn't faith fall in there somewhere?
But wouldn't that be faith in yourself?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, even if it's faith in yourself, it's still faith, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Shannon, I know you want to say something, but I'm going to run to Crazy Lady real quick. Do you have anything that you want to add, Crazy Lady?
Well, yeah, skip me for the moment.
Okay, I'll go to Shannon. I'm just trying to get to everyone. Okay, Shannon, what do you want to say, my friend?
Okay. I just wanted to say I think faith is a positive thing. You either are in a mindset wherever you are in your life to whether you're in a positive mode or a negative mode. I think it's a way of a coping mechanism, a survival mechanism. It all depends upon if the glass is half full or how you look at a situation. To me, I'm kind of pessimistic actually, because if I believe that something's not going to happen, well, then I'm already prepared for it. So I guess that would be lack of faith. So then when you have, and it comes around and turns around your way, then you're positively surprised. You understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I understand.
And I just think it all matters where your mindset is at the point in time in your life. It's due to the events and the way you handle things as well. The strength that you have within yourself. I don't really think you can believe in anything else until you believe in yourself.
Okay. All right. And Phoenix says, I do believe you do not show a living being love. You will not thrive. And okay, I'm reading my own. I'm sorry. I'm reading my own thing. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep up here. Everybody has some really good points. I don't necessarily agree with what everyone is saying, but you guys have some really, really good points. I'm gonna go to Crucible Man, and then I'm gonna go to GP Man. Crucible, do you have anything you want to add?
I agree. Faith in yourself is a very good place to start, but we tend to attribute really good things that happen to us to our faith. I'm sorry. Is there a difference between faith and good fortune? And can we sometimes mistake the two? If we really believe in this job offer that we hope to get, or a promotion, or something good that's going to happen, and it happens, we tend to attribute it to our faith in God, or our faith in general. If it doesn't happen, it can be chalked up to just bad luck or misfortune. So our relying on faith or interpreting things happening to you as a result of your faith, or are they just happenstance or just good fortune? You happen to be in the right place at the right time. Does it matter if the outcome is what you wanted? Probably not. But I think sometimes we can misread faith for just simple good fortune.
Okay. GP Man, you want to, I have something I want to add to what Crucible Man said, but I'm going to go to GP Man first. GP Man, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I agree with what Crucible Man said. That hey, sometimes you just get lucky in life and are dealt a good hand. Sometimes you're not. What if the hand you're dealt with is a physical disability, a mental disability, opposed to somebody who's 100% healthy in every aspect? And so, like I said, it goes hand in hand. I mean, you can give thanks to your belief, to your faith, but in the end of the day, I see it the same way what he just described. Sometimes it's just pure luck on everything. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to agree with him on.
Okay, and GP Man, since you have the mic, I'm going to throw this question out to everyone, and I'll start with you first. Okay, Crucible Man said he brought up the word luck, and you said, if you're, born, 100% healthy. First of all, I don't believe anyone is 100% healthy, and even if you do have a disability, why is that considered unlucky? So, exactly what is luck?
So, in the sense that, let's say there are adults who cannot feed themselves, they require assistance in order in order to survive, to receive their nutrition. Otherwise, they would die on their own. That's just how it is. That's the kind of disability I'm talking about, something like that. I'm not talking about maybe somebody who's just really a Debbie Downer kind of thing, not like that. But I'm just saying it's sad. I mean, who wants to live that kind of life? That's not a life to live, really. It's actually kind of sad. At least when I
Okay,
was a kid.
but it's sad to you. But look at help me out here. What is the gentleman that just passed away this past year? He ended up being a phenomenal scientist. Whatever, he was in a wheelchair, paraplegic.
Hawking.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Stephen Hawking.
Yes, yes. So when you look at him, people can look at him and go, "Wow, why he's living like that? I would never want to live like that." But look at everything he gave to society. So who's to say that if you do live like that, that's such a bad thing? Maybe he was meant to be the way he was in order to give us the information that he did. Does that make sense to anybody? Because I do believe that everybody is here for a reason, and I believe that we're all made, created, colors, whatever color we are, whatever gender, whatever we do. I do believe that we're all here for a reason. So I'm gonna go to GP Man, and then I'll go to Revolutionary Bro. So GP Man, what do you want to say?
So with Hawkins, he is an exception, though. He did have a way above high IQ than the average person. So that didn't stop him from actually having the ability to think for himself. Now, of course, his physical disability was the biggest factor, but for those other people, there was 100. It's mental too. It wasn't just physical, but mental as well. In his aspect, it wasn't mental at all, which gave him the ability to do so. He himself, as being as bright as he was, he considered himself an atheist as well. And like I said, I believe that it's really luck in life. I don't believe that things happen for a reason. I just take life as it comes, in my
Okay,
personal belief.
okay, Bro, I'm going to you.
Let me just say, God makes the atheists as well as the believers, and I think it is his personal relationship with God. I mean, it's their personal relationship with God, and God's personal relationship with them is what matter, not what the rest of us think of them. Understand, God maybe had to disadvantage Stephen Hawking to that degree, because maybe has Stephen Hawking been able to move and transition around, maybe he wouldn't have been
Are
able
you
to
guys there?
complete that assignment.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay, hold on for a
Can you hear
second.
me?
I am so sorry, bro. Let me put you back on here.
Hello?
Yes, I am so
Can you
sorry.
hear me?
I'm so sorry. My mouse kind of kicked me out for a moment. I am so sorry. Okay, bro.
Oh, I was saying that
I kind of
maybe
screwed up
Stephen
here, guys.
Hawking's.
I apologize. Okay, bro.
Oh, all right. I was saying that Stephen Hawking's disadvantage or seemingly disadvantage may
Okay,
have
we're gonna
been
get
what.
bro back. Shannon, you go ahead and take the mic. You go ahead and take the mic. So
I wanted to elaborate on the question you asked, what is luck? Luck is success or failure that is apparently brought on by some sort of chance happening rather than through one's own actions. So, like in consideration, like Stephen Hawking, it was just by chance that he got that. It was just the cards that he was dealt. So that's the meaning of luck.
okay, so I am so sorry. I just totally screwed up. I was fooling around with my mouse and I kicked us out and brought us back in. So apparently we're hearing two people at the same time. Does anybody hear anyone else besides me?
No.
Yes, we.
Okay, all right. So, bro, I'm sorry. Can you go ahead and finish what you were saying?
Oh yes. I was saying. All right. Well, let me just add to what Shannon just said. I think it's totally impossible for Stephen Hawking's situation to have been luck. Luck don't come with that degree of intellect. It's just like Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles being blind and playing instruments and singing. Like I couldn't ascribe that to luck. I just think that some people have assignments, and God probably feels as though the only way that they will complete those assignments is to be disadvantaged, because Stephen Hawkins could have been a lady man that didn't have time for any of the wondrous works that he completed. And Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, had they had the ability to fully see, because I think they see a little bit, because I mean, good God, if they had the ability to fully see, then they probably would have been off into other things. So sometimes it takes what we think is a disadvantage to get those dudes over the top and completing their assignments. And this faith in the self, I think some of what we misconstrue for faith would be called confidence. I think that some of us are so confident that we believe, that we feel, that we know that we can get a thing done. Like there are basketball players who have the confidence, like a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or a Kyrie Irving or Kobe Bryant, that can say, I'm gonna score 50 points tonight, and actually score 50 points. It's a lot of people playing basketball, but everybody can't do that. Everybody can't say that and bring it into fruition.
Okay, so again, I believe that we are here for a reason. I believe whether you're Stephen Hawkins, whatever, and no, everyone cannot be Stephen Hawkins. And is he an exception? I don't think so. Because you look at the children who are running in the Special Olympics, and this may seem silly for some people, but their mission in life may have been to prove that they can run, and they may not come in first, but they cross that finish line. Their mission in life may be they may not be quote unquote normal, but what is normal? Are any of us normal? To be just to give their parents every time you look at them, you just smile, or just to make someone happy. So I don't believe that anyone is luckier than the other. Yes, you may have more money than me, but are you happier than me? I mean, there are people who live in shacks who may not have everything, but they're together as a family. and they're happy, as opposed to people who are rich and whatever, and their parents are always gone, never pay attention to them, or the wife is here, the husband's there, whatever, and they don't even know what being a family is. So when you talk about luck, I don't know. I just think luck, free will, faith, religion, in fact, I'll take religion out of it. I'll say faith, luck, your beliefs, it's all wrapped up into one. It's just how we see them. So I'm gonna go to Crucible Man. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Or what do you think?
I was raised to believe that people who had disabilities, or Stephen Hawking is kind of a good example in God gives and he takes away, and he decides what's best for us. But what I was always taught was that people with disabilities, or any kind of other physical or mental affliction that prevents them from living a normal life, that this was considered their purgatory on earth, and they were going to be rewarded. They were going to be first in line in the afterlife. They will be rewarded. This is not a punishment from God. This is his way of preparing them for the next life. So I've always been taught to believe that people who grew up with some kind of disability will be rewarded. But we all, God gives and takes with all of us, and it isn't any different. Certainly, you wouldn't want to have a disability if you could avoid it. But the Stephen Hawkings of the world, Bro started to make a good point. He might have had to leave. What if Stephen Hawking's wasn't disabled? Maybe he would have been an automobile mechanic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but maybe his disability compelled him to do things he wouldn't have ordinarily have done. So and is that bad luck? Is it good luck? It's an open question.
Okay, I know that we're getting off topic, and Crucible Man, you just said something that I want to comment on with disabilities, but I want to go to GP Man, because he said y'all are thinking like citizens of a first world country, and I want him to explain, or elaborate on what he meant by that.
Okay, I don't know if any of y'all have traveled quite a bit. I've been to other countries, but man, I'll tell you this. I normally don't say this, but I would definitely say that it is a blessing to be in America when you compare other countries. Whether I'm talking about the Middle East, I'm talking about South America, some other countries I've been to. I remember my tour in Haiti when the earthquake happened in 2010, just seeing the amount of death and even just the way of life, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, how horrific these individuals have to live on a day-to-day basis. It's inhumane, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, it's things like that really shake you up. And I do believe that many religions, many faiths, they say you shouldn't test their God. You shouldn't test God or put them to the test or anything. But when you're there and you see, you smell, you go through that, it really changes your aspect of life in general. This is just Mother Nature doing its thing, whether it's a tsunami, whether it's an earthquake, what have you, or it's just oil fires, in the desert that the toxic kills people. Just the fumes in the air. I mean, there's a lot of horrific stuff I've seen, but it just puts a different perspective. And what you guys are talking about, it definitely brings me back to relating to Americans, how good we have it here in comparison to other people who didn't have running water, who it's normal to see your friends die because of malnutrition, or just as a child, just different things like that, where there's corruption or there's civil war, things of that nature. That's what that's what I meant by we're thinking like citizens of a first world country. That's what I meant by that.
Okay, all right. And GP Man, I grew up with a father who always said, there's always somebody who has it worse than you, because when I was younger, I used to complain and complain and complain and complain and complain. And he would always say, there's always somebody who has it worse than you. And I would, say that to other people, whatever, because it is true. There are people, you may not have, enough to eat, but did you eat? Because there could be somebody that didn't eat. So no, I totally understand that. Um, so I want to talk again. My show always goes in different directions when people start saying stuff. So I'm getting off religion. I want to go into disabilities for a moment. Exactly, what are disabilities, and do people really have them? I mean, yeah, you can look at your Stephen Hawking's, and you can say, well, I was born, with only one leg, whatever. But this person who's born with one leg, oh my God, they are like just doing phenomenal things. Or this person who is, born without two arms and stuff. So, what is a disability? And do the people who have all their limbs and have two eyes and can see whatever, are they really better off? So, I'm going to go to Shannon for that one. And then I'm going to go to Phoenix because I'm interested in what she has to say, considering the experience she had with her son in the hospital. So Shannon, you want to take that one?
Okay. Well, I know that there's several different types of disabilities. You have intellectual disabilities, physical, sensory, and mental illness is a disability. So I don't really know what you're asking other than that.
Well, I mean, I think that we tend to, and again, I don't mean to disrespect anyone out there who has any family member or anyone who is quote unquote disabled. But people who are quote unquote normal tend to look at people who are quote unquote disabled like, oh, it's too bad, they're this, they're that. But are they really as bad off as we? I mean, they could be the ones that are better off than us.
Exactly. It's fear and guilt and kind of a way of shunning. I think this world could use a little more sympathy and empathy. I think that's one thing that as we go through the years, I see less and less people having empathy. An intellectual disability may have difficulties in communicating, learning, or like retaining knowledge, and people may call them stupid because that's just one of tearing someone else down to make yourself feel better, because I do believe that's the world we live in. People are selfish. Physical disabilities may affect either temporary or permanently, and a person's physical capacity and or their mobility, such as Stephen Hawking. And of course, mental illness affects a person's thinking, emotional state, and their behavior. So when you come across something like that, you don't necessarily fit into cliques or groups, which are socially accepted by people today. And if you don't fit in a certain clique or a group, well, they jump on that bandwagon, and that's when mob mentality happens. And I really think that's people really need to start looking into themselves and just treat people the way they really wanted to be treated themselves.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to Green Eye Phoenix. You want to pick that up in terms of disabled and who's really disabled and who's normal?
As far as, well, I've been through something really tragic recently in my life. And, I'll say before this, I tended to be more of a judgmental person. And when I would see somebody in the park screaming at the trees, thinking it's the government or whatever, because this woman watched her brother get murdered by what she said. I'm not even going to go into her whole story because, that's a whole nother level of of discussion, but I used to judge those kind of people in a way. And then I went through something very tragic, and I was left to suffer all those things by myself. I developed a severe case of PTSD. I was hearing things in my head that were not there, and I knew they weren't there, but I was hearing them. And it turned my views around, where one day I was sitting in a McDonald's getting a coffee, and I watched this guy outside talking to something I couldn't see. And for once in my life, I caught myself not judging him and thinking maybe he's not crazy. And we don't know what he's been through, or why he does that, what path he's on in his life to be that way. So I don't know what normal is. I don't think any of us are normal. So I try not to judge that at all.
Solid Blue, do you mind if I ask her a question?
Go ahead.
Sweetie, did you, when you said you heard like voices, did you hear them, such as like parametric sound, like pitched outside your head, or was it inside?
I think it began with a T, like tinnitus or something like that. I forgot what it was, but I was hearing. So I ended up having like my house raided because of somebody who was here. I lost my job. I lost my family, my friends, like everything within a matter of days. And I wasn't sleeping.
I'm going to give you a solution to what you're hearing.
Well, I don't hear it anymore.
I need to know, was it actual voices? Was it like sound effects?
No, it sounded like helicopters.
I want you to go get a 360 x-ray of your jaw. Go to your dentist and get a 360 x-rays, because I do remember you telling me you were put under 5 times in 1 year?
Yeah.
I do think that maybe they put the ears in you like they did me. You need to go get proof. And you can go to Affordable Dentures or something, and they give you your x-rays for free. I think you're going to find that you got the same thing put in you as what's put in me.
Well, with mine, it was...
And you can get it done for free.
It was a PTSD trigger that I was having from something tragic that my husband did.
Who told you that?
No, I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't go. And I suffered a stroke that March after all that happened, because of the stress that I put on my body by the trauma I went through.
Well, that's pretty elaborate, though.
But I never went to a doctor. I don't want to go to doctors.
No, don't go to a doctor. Go to the dentist.
Yeah, it was because of not sleeping.
Helicopters, I mean, it's pretty distinguished. I mean, you could have... You and I need to talk, just like I said.
So
you could have
you're
two-way
military,
speaker.
right?
Huh?
GP, he's military, right?
GP, are you still on? Yeah. She's asking. Phoenix is asking if you're military.
I'm a veteran.
Okay, so you've experienced PTSD, and I'm sure large times of not sleeping and things like that. Did you ever hear of, I think it's tinnitus or something like that? I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's a T, but it's like a psychosis version of it.
No. Is it like feedback in the ear, like a speaker?
No, nothing like that. No, with troops it's different, because it's the way we're told is, you're home, your body doesn't know you're home, and it's all pretty much, it's all reactive. Your body just is more reactive more than anything. But at least in my case, I'm glad that mine faded away quite a bit. After 2 tours, it faded away. But some guys, depending on the body, how they adjust, it's more severe. It's a case by case situation, but it's more your body kind of reacting for troops. I don't know what type of PTSD you have, but for the troops, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just, hey, it's combat. It's hell. It's different. For the civilians, there's so many more broader options on what type of PTSD they have. It's not the same.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go on, Phoenix. Finish.
No, go ahead. I mean, not to get off topic or anything, but like I said, just going back to it, I don't judge people anymore. I don't know what's considered normal. I don't think anybody's normal. I think we're all far from normal in my opinion. But at the same time, I don't have a definition of normal or what a disability is or anything, because there's a lot of people out there who have disabilities that would not have it any other way.
Well, don't you think that a disability could be, not necessarily going back to my original thing with religion. And in fact, I'm not going to talk about religion at all. I want to talk about that word, criticize. Do you think criticism is a type of disability?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Bro.
I
I'm
think
sorry, Shannon. Go ahead.
I think criticism, if done the right way, can be very constructive.
It could be constructive, exactly, if it's done the right way. So I'm sorry, Revolutionary Bro got me a little. He likes Crucible Man, but you love me. Thank you. All right, so Bro, I know you have something to say with everything that's going on. What do you think normal is?
Can you
I can hear, I can hear you. We all hear you. Go ahead, bro.
I think that normalcy. You can't hear me,
We
right?
can hear you.
Okay. For me, normalcy means that you are doing everything that they tell you to do. Everything that they expect from you, you're participating in. Because the only time you're abnormal or out of pocket is if you go against the grain. No psychologist or no doctor on earth has of yet put together what a paradigm for normalcy is and one of abnormalcy. And that's why you have abnormal psychology, because they're working on it, but they haven't reached it yet. So I think you're normal if you are making them happy. That's considered normal.
All right. Crucible Man, what is it? What do you think normal is?
Paradigm or a reference point for what we think normal is. It is a mainstream type of thing that we all can kind of agree on, but we're living in different times now, and I think normal is whatever works for you. I don't think there is any such thing as quote unquote normal. It's such a subjective term. What's normal for me would not be normal for you. You might have grown up in a household that you sat down to eat dinner every single night. Everybody was there, the parents and the children, and you talked about things, and nobody was allowed to miss dinner. Or you could have grown up in a household where it was kind of catch as catch can, and there was no formal, dinner setting or things like that. And everybody could have turned out fine or could have turned out not so fine. But you could be talking one day and say that was a normal childhood, and somebody else could say there's nothing normal about that. So I think normal is whatever works for you. There's never going to be a universal normal, certainly not today, when there's so many disparate groups and so many different lifestyles and cultures. It's unfair to expect normal, and it's unfair to judge people about what we think is normal, because there's no such thing as universal normal.
So do you think that when you consider, again, this word normal with someone who has a disability, do you think that people who are disabled are really disabled? I mean, they may be physically disabled in our eyes, but are they really disabled?
Well, like I said, I made the comment earlier, God giveth and he taketh away. We're all, I guess, if you want to use the word disabled, we all have our deficiencies. We all have our things. And what may look like disability to the external eye may actually be some very, very deep blessings, inside. It's hard for me to sit here and say that somebody who's in a wheelchair or somebody who lost an arm or something else has been blessed. That's sort of a dumb thing for me to say without knowing more. But I think disabilities can be deceiving. And you'd asked the question earlier: is being criticizing, is that a disability? I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but it is a deficiency, and we all have them. So, they can take all shapes and forms. But I think people who are outwardly disabled are also receiving blessings that we might not be able to see.
Okay, you just gave me a question that I want to ask GP Man. So, and I know Shannon's probably going to want to pick up on this, and Shannon, I will come to you. But GP Man, do you believe in blessings?
In a way, yes. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a blessing to be born in America and grow up in America in modern times, opposed to being born elsewhere where there's a chance you may not even get to see the age of 10. And it's so common in that type of situation. So your entire childhood is just pain and suffering until you pass away at the age of 10. So I would say a blessing is also along the same lines. Yes, as in luck. Hey, I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be in modern times and not, another generation or another, scenario, another country.
So you don't. So do you think there's a difference between a blessing and luck?
I would put them as the same.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go to Shannon. What do you think about that? Do you think? I know you had something. Well, first, I know you had something else you wanted to say, but I also want to ask you about blessings and luck. So, what do you want to say?
I think normal is conforming to a standard or what is usual or what is to be expected. Blessings, I definitely don't think it has anything to do with luck. Blessings can be something like he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, so therefore they are blessed with riches that give them advantages over other people because they have different resources, so therefore they don't have to live an impoverished life. They didn't become rich or have wealth or status because of luck. So therefore they are blessed with riches, which makes them more life easier for certain people. And I'm not saying money is this, but yeah, money is a blessing. When you are at church, what goes around the whole and every pew? The money basket. Right. So, blessings are not luck. It's either you got it or you don't.
Bro, what do you want to say? Because I want to pick up on something that Shannon just said. You want to add any comments?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I think. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Do you know that I think we're putting too much emphasis on the word normal because we have to stop giving credence to words that don't have a universal functional definition. And what I mean by that, if something has been functionally defined, we can define those words without using a whole bunch of adjectives like the word love. You have to say love is caring and sharing it. But if love had a universal functional definition, then you can just say what it meant as opposed to saying what you think it means. And when I hear people talking about normal, they're not defining it. They're just telling you what they think it means. That means the word don't have any credence. And let's stop giving those types of words, those open-ended words, credence. I don't even really discuss it because it don't exist.
Okay. All right. And for Feisty One and Jester, just so you know, we've been all over the board tonight. Religion, normal. I'm asking right now, what is normal? And people who are disabled, are they really disabled, or are the quote unquote normal people the ones that have the issues? We've been all over the board today talking about blessings and faith. So if you guys want to jump in, that's fine. I sent you guys invites. If you can't join in, I totally understand. You know, life is unpredictable. And I still come back to, I do believe in blessings. And I think for me personally, blessings, is tied up with luck. I'm sorry, with faith. I believe, people are lucky. But again, I come back to that faith. I come back to faith, and I come back to blessings. I mean, I think that, people are blessed, and I think that blessing, comes from a higher being. So, having said that, does anyone think that, I'm trying to say this. If you don't believe in blessings, don't you think that when something good happens to you, that that there's a reason for it, or it comes from somewhere? And bro, I'm going to start with you.
I think the only thing that we really need blessed is the food that we consume in hopes that it don't kill us. Now, I see the only reason I say that is because a lot of people like to pray for people to bless them. But the type of individual that I am, I don't want everybody praying for me because I don't know what you believe, and I don't want, your dead words or your dead weight with God to fall on me. Keep some of them prayers. We got to keep some of them prayers to ourselves. Now, if it's our children or something like that, maybe we can pray. If it's a loved one, maybe we can pray. But I don't just want anybody just praying for me because those blessings I don't want. I think it's some negative blessings as well as good ones.
So what do you consider a negative blessing?
Do you know, I look at it like this. Don't you know, if you tell somebody, hey, I just enrolled in school, they can say something like, oh, let's see how long that lasts. They just blessed what you told them, but their blessing was a curse more than actual what we perceive to be blessings. So I don't even tell people my business because I don't want them putting their mouth on what I'm doing. Because if I fail, I want it to be because of me. I don't want it to be because of nothing that they did. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fail as a result of what they're talking about.
You guys, I mean, the things that you have been saying today, I am seriously just fascinated. I'm fascinated with what Shannon has said, what GP Man and Phoenix has said, and bro, you always take it to a different level. I have so many questions that I want to ask, and I'm just trying to figure out which question I ask first. So, well, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to just pass the mic because I have to get my thoughts in order. So I'm going to go to Crucible Man.
I think blessings, you can interpret blessings depending on your faith, as whether it's good luck or good fortune. We tend to see favorable things that happen to us as blessings, and we tend to see things that bad things that happen to us as bad fortune. And I don't know that we blame God when bad things happen so much as we credit him when good things happen. So I think faith, can be one of those things that you can kind of pick up and set down depending on the situation. And I think it can be very difficult for people to tell the difference between faith and luck. But a blessing, I think, is something that is unexpected, and the source is more of a divine nature as opposed to luck, which may be more human generated. That might be one way to make a distinction, but I think people perceive blessings as something that's received from a divine source as opposed to something more pedestrian as good luck or good fortune.
Okay. Now, Feisty One just came on, and I'm just thinking back to our conversation from yesterday, and she said that when, in terms of the DEVIL, she always spells out the DEV. She always spells out DEVIL. So I'm going to ask GP Man and Green Eye Phoenix, since you're technically atheist, do you believe in the devil? Do you think that he or she exists? Welcome, OJ. Welcome. So, do you believe that the devil exists? And
I do not.
So,
I don't believe it.
do you believe that there's
In the same-
evil? That there's evil, and if there is evil, where does it come from?
Well, I would only say it's animal nature, human nature to do bad things. I wouldn't say that there is a devil or an evil power out there, because that would just, I don't believe in good power or bad power. I would just say there is no higher power. It's just human nature and, animal nature. I mean, do you really think, sharks want to be evil and attacking people? No, it's just in their nature to do so. Unfortunately, if same thing goes to humans, it's in our nature to hurt others. Unfortunately, that does happen, and it happens. And I don't believe that there's some devil that causes for people to be that way. In the same sense that people, they blame their horoscope. Well, I'm a Leo, so I'm gonna be judgmental. I'm gonna be an asshole. No, that's just who you are. It's not really a higher power that you're already programmed to be a certain way. No, I don't believe in that.
I find that interesting. I really do. I find it interesting, and I find it fascinating. Green Eye Phoenix, I'm coming to you. What do you think? Do you believe there's a such thing as the devil?
Can you hear
I
me?
hear you.
It's so weird because it shows that I'm muted on my side. No, I don't believe in a devil. I would have to say that I completely agree with GP on what he said.
I find that so interesting. So Green Eye, was it you who said earlier in the show that you think that we're living in purgatory?
I think if there's a hell, I think that this is what hell is. I think this is this is it here. I mean,
Do you think that it's always been like
there's
that?
just
That
so
Earth
much.
has always been purgatory, or we kind of worked up to it?
I think we worked up to it.
Okay, all right. Well, we are at the 1 hour and 43 mark, and I said that I was not going to take this to we only have 1 minute left, so I wasn't going to take it up to that mark. So I am going to say I'm just going to go around the room, so to speak, and which I know is going to take us even longer. So I'm going to start with Shannon. Do you have any last words that you want to say? Because this has just been a fascinating. I mean, honestly, you guys have completely fascinated me. So, Shannon, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay. I guess let's leave off with what you were talking about last, the devil. I believe in good and bad, right and wrong, and there's God and a devil, all counterparts of each other. And I believe the devil is a supreme spirit of evil. He's a subordinate evil at the enmity with God and having power to over humans, having the power to afflict humans with both bodily disease and to corrupt them spiritually. So that's all I have to say about that, and be gone with that damn devil.
All right. Crucible Man, what do you have to say?
Either we believe in the devil or heaven and hell, what it comes down to is, the world is still about people, and they can have faith in whatever they want to have faith in, as long as it makes sense to them. But in the end, I think what it comes down to is worship God, and don't worship a religion, or don't worship something abstract. Worship God. Put the emphasis on. And I'm not an overly religious person, so I'm not trying to come across like a proselytizer or a Bible thumper at all. But I think the emphasis should be on a relationship with God and whatever your own personal faith is, as opposed to something that you don't really have any control over. You may say you don't have any control over your relationship with God. He's in control of that. True, but you do have a role in it. You don't have much of a role in formal structured religion. They're going to tell you, they're going to dictate the terms to you. So I think from a spiritual sense, you gain more control over your spiritual life by having a relationship with God and emphasizing that, as opposed to you're worshiping a religion.
Okay. GP Man? You need to, there you go. Okay.
No, I just want to say I think it's great that everybody shares their point of view. I always admire those that do have faith, because I wish I could be like that and have that feeling, because I know it is a feeling that comes with it, a sense of security, if you will, that someone is there that cares for you in that way as a creator. But I just don't have that. But I do admire those that do have faith, because I do think that's a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, I'm just not there. But there's still no reason to, like you said, shame and criticize those that do. I will never go that. Like I said before, if being a Muslim or being a Christian makes you a better person overall, then by all means, you have my support.
Okay. All right. And bro, you have the last word, so to speak.
Um, you guys, can
And
you hear me?
we can hear you.
See, you know what? It's a shame I have to do that every time. Listen, all right. Let me just say, with this devil thingy, I I don't believe in a devil, but I know that the world does. And in order for me to, really get my point across, I have to speak in terms of not the God that actually exists, but the God that religion created. I have to speak of the devil, not the devil that actually exists, if one exists, but the one that religion created. And when we talk about those entities based on the fact that religions made them, how sure are we in what we speak when the opposite could be true? Or it might be like Crucible Man, I mean GP Man, and what's her name, Green Eye Phoenix. It might not be a god or a devil at all. So I think whenever we speak, we got to be careful, because, like you said, our critique of somebody, Solid Blue Sister, can be very offensive, especially if they're not wrong, but if we're wrong.
Okay. All right. You guys have, I mean, again, you guys just take it to a completely different level. You guys have, you know, again, I did a show on religion because we were talking about religion all week. I said, well, let me just wrap it up with religion. But you guys, I mean, we've been across the board today we've talked about some of everything. So I have a lot of things to think about, and you guys always give me something to think about. Shannon, GP Man, and Phoenix, you guys are definitely giving me something to think about. But I will say, I come back to my faith, and it's my faith. Green Knight, no problem. I have three dogs, so I know what it's like to have to clean up. Yeah, you guys have just taken it to a completely different level. But that's it. That's all I've got. Does anyone want to throw out one more thing or one last thing? Because we're coming up to that 2-hour mark, and I don't want to be the host that gets cut off or has to rush some people. So, is there anything else that anybody wants to say? Anybody?
Yeah, we got to do this again.
So you're talking about it, in the evening, GP Man?
Yeah, yes, because
Yeah.
I work a lot and this is a good downtime. So yeah, in the evening this works great.
Okay, all right. There is another idea that I have, and I am going to ask people. I'm going to put my email in the chat here. It's solidbluesister at gmail.com. And I have an idea that I want to do. Feisty One and I, we know each other. Crucible Man and I, we know each other, and I've already run it by them, and they are more than willing to do it. So if you guys can, if you're interested in my idea, if you can please, thank you, Mr. T, for coming. If you guys, are interested in what I have to say, please send me an email, because I do have an idea that I am going to put out to a select group. And if you guys want to do it, I think you guys would like it. And I think it'll actually be pretty cool. So having said that, I'm sorry?
Like a regular.
I'm sorry, Shannon?
Like a regular round table.
Well, it's something like that, but not quite. So I will, if you're interested, then send me an email, and then I will respond to what I want to do. But to start it off, I want to do it with probably no more than 6 to 8 people. But send me an email so I can email you back. But yeah, and GP Man, I think this is something that you would be interested in also. But in terms of an evening show, I'm going to try to do another one. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to do another evening show, because my Fridays are usually very, 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 very busy. So I will see what I can do. But next week, I'm going to talk about being irrational, being selfish, when one person loves the other more. So I have a couple of topics that I want to hit on. And OJ, thank you very much for coming. I know that usually I get you up at 2:00 in the morning, and I know it's a little later for you. I think it's like around 8:00 where you are now, 8 a.m. So yeah. But does anyone else have anything else that they want to add before we take it to the goodbye music?
I just wanted to ask you: are you in the East Coast?
I am on the West Coast. I am in Southern California.
Oh, you're in California. For some reason,
what time is it where you're at?
It is now 9:54 p.m.
Okay, I thought that. I said, yo, Solid Blue is cheating the rest of us out of some sleep. It is 9:00 where she at, and almost 1:00 where I'm at.
Yeah, but it all depends upon what you're doing. It all depends upon what you're doing, because sometimes I'm up like very early doing things, and you guys are like, my 2:00 is someone's 4:00 or 5:00. So it all depends upon So it all depends upon
It works out. So. It works out. I ain't lazy anyway. I'll be up all the time.
Well, it always amazes me how you guys, when some of these shows, they go on. You want to do another show? Do you want to do another show? I'm like, how can I do another show? I'm exhausted. So So, but yeah, but hold on. OJ wants to say something. So, OJ, I missed that. So let's do it one more time. OJ wants to say something.
Hey, can you hear
Yes, we
me?
can hear you.
Thanks, Solid Blue Sister, for having it now. It's 11:24 a.m. here in my place, so in this time is convenient for me. Uh, yeah, I get to work around noon, so this time is good. And it was fun listening to the Dua. I jumped in late, but it was fun
Okay.
listening.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, and then Green Eye says it's 10:54 there. So you're an hour ahead of me. Are you in Arizona? Yes. Okay. I figure you may have been in Arizona. All right. Okay. So again, I will try to do another Friday show and we will just see how that works. But everyone, again, thank you so much. Thank you for making this a good show. Thank you for everyone putting in your 2 cents, 3 cents, your dollar, whatever. Green Eye Phoenix, thank you for coming on. I've seen you on other shows, and thank you for coming on to my show for the first time. So thank you. That's it, everybody. I'm Solid Blue Sister. I always speak your truth. This is my turn to talk, and I will see you next time or Monday. Bye. Or if I see you on someone else's show, I will be on Doomsday on Sunday. So unless there's something else that pops up. And Feisty One, thank you, my friend. And bro, can I ask where in the country you are?
Ohio.
Okay. And Shannon, you're in New Orleans. And GP Man, where are you? Did he leave? I'm sorry, where? Okay. All right. So everybody's kind of all over the place. But if again, solidbluesister@gmail.com. If you guys are interested in what I want to do, again, it's something I want to do with 6 to 8 people. But I think you guys will think that it's fun. And Crucible Man and Feisty One, they already said yes. So hopefully the rest of you guys will be interested. So
I'm in.
Is it a podcast stream team?
wait until I just send me the email, okay? If you send me the email, okay, I'm gonna be one of those people. Only time if you want to be involved, you gotta send the email, okay? Because I'm gonna need your email anyway. So, but again, I think you guys will like it. So, anybody else have anything they want to say before the music ends? You know how my music is. Anybody want to say anything? Crucible Man, you don't have anything to say? I'm shocked.
Okay, see you guys
Okay,
later.
bro, see you later.
I'm envisioning a Hollywood Squares for Podsters. Am I on the right track?
Hollywood Squares, that is a good idea. Close.
Thank you.
But not quite. Close, but not quite.
I'm sure it'll be good.
But you already kind of know what it is, so. But Shannon, it is something that you are going to like. You are going to like it, Shannon. You guys are funny. Oh my goodness. This has been fun. This has been fun. But I still like my afternoons. I still like my afternoons. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your night. See you Monday. Bye.